Alright, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. Now, Belal Muhammad sucks, and Gilbert Burns is the hero that the UFC needs, but not the one that they deserve. I absolutely love Gilbert Burns. The dude is a savage, and Belal Muhammad sucks. And I know that there are probably some of you who are sympathetic to Belal Muhammad's cause and thinking that he deserves a title shot after beating number 10th ranked Sean Brady, like, 6 to 8 months ago. And to be fair, in my video on Belal Muhammad, just a short while ago, I did say that I thought he was more deserving of a title shot than Colby Covington, but I did not think that he was deserving of a title shot, because there's a difference there. I don't care one little bit if he doesn't ever get a title shot, if I'm being brutally honest. And I'm going to talk about why. I'm also going to talk about Gilbert Burns, his fight options, and which one I think is actually better, and for different reasons than other people. But before we get into that, dude, please like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I'll thank you in advance, because I'm Canadian and I'm polite. Please, dude, look at the graphic on the screen, okay? Only like 39% of you that regularly watch are subscribed. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's get into it, dude. So, Gilbert Burns, UFC 288, is missing a fight because of Charles Oliveira pulling out. They postponed the fight to UFC 289, which I begged them not to do because I didn't think that Vancouver, BC deserved that fight. They got it, which bugs me, but we'll move on. Gilbert Burns is trying to save the day because UFC 288 now is looking a little light, and that's being charitable, okay? And he probably, using his big brain Gilbert Burns, I feel like that's why we're seeing that afro. It's because his brain is growing, but he calls out Belal Muhammad on Twitter, essentially, because Belal Muhammad has been very vocal, very whiny, very complaining about not being able to get a fight, about him wanting to be the backup in March, about him just won't shut up, quite frankly. And as soon as a guy, not just any guy, the savage Gilbert Burns calls him out, all of a sudden he's not in fight shape and he can't make weight. When just a few short weeks ago, he was in fight shape, ready to go at any time, any place, all this garbage that he spews, okay? I understand why Gilbert Burns does not want to fight at a catch weight. I've seen so many people online on the side of Belal Muhammad telling Gilbert Burns to take the fight at a catch weight, not understanding that that could potentially ruin his opportunity at a title shot, because if this fight doesn't happen at welterweight, then what does it have to do with the welterweight rankings? I understand his position, and I don't fault him for taking that position. Also, the reason why they are justifying Belal Muhammad not being able to make weight, in my opinion, is horseshit. Okay? The effects that Ramadan has on a fighter's ability to be in good shape gets severely overblown in order to justify them fighting twice a year. And I am not trying to shit on anybody's religion. I do not care what you believe in. That's your business. But it's affecting the UFC's business now. And this happens a lot. Could you imagine if, like, a bunch of champions were Muslim, like Habib or Islam were, where we get to see them fight twice a year if we're lucky? Could you imagine how many pay-per-views a year would we have? You know what I mean? It is such a flimsy excuse, in my opinion, to not be able to make weight because you were going through Ramadan. I understand that it's short notice. Here's the thing, though. It would be a little over 2 weeks, right? Because Ramadan ends on Thursday, April 20th. Tomorrow, right? Yeah, I think so. Anyways, dude, doesn't matter. It ends April 20th. 30 days in April, 8 days. You would have 18 days, close to 3 weeks. You know what I mean? 2.5 weeks to make weight. Typically, guys don't start their water load until like a week out. You know what I mean? Also, dude, as I said, the effects that Ramadan has on the ability for guys to make weight or guys to be in shape is so overblown. It blows my mind. It is literally, essentially, intermittent fasting. The only difference is that you can't drink water in the same window of time that you can't eat. That's the only thing that would make it even remotely hard. However, if you are a professional athlete who is responsible for your own body being in shape, as you should be as a professional athlete, you could very well, you could easily get your daily intake of water in. Uh, you know what I mean? Split it in half from the dark morning to the dark night, because all it is, dude, from sunrise or a little bit before, the first light that you get before sunrise, you can't eat until then, until sunset. Every day I wake up at about 5 a.m. Every day I eat at about 8:30 p.m. That's it. Now I do drink water during the day, but not a lot, because what I do when I wake up is I slam back a liter of water. It's like the first thing I do as soon as I wake up. I've got these big mason jars. They fill 500 mils. I fill them up. I slam one back like as quickly as I can, and then I drink the second one a little bit slower. And I piss like crazy for the next couple hours, but I've now gotten in half my intake of water necessary. Like that's 4 cups right there. You know what I mean? They're intermittent fasting, and they make it. There's guys in the UFC that do that as a diet normally, just all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of sick of it, if I'm being honest, dude. And again, I'm not trying to shit on a religion, but the fucking it's not hard to do. You know what I mean? Now that it's getting close to like summertime, we are getting a little bit more daylight. So if I had to push back when I ate, an hour and a half, I'd be fine. I'd be fine, dude. And I know that fasting can affect people differently, but it also largely depends on what you eat. And if you're a professional athlete and you are still putting out calories every day, training, you may not be training as intensely as you would during a training camp, but you are still training. At least I would think so, right? If not, then that's also on you, you bitch. But you should still be training. I forgot what I was fucking saying, because this shit drives me so crazy. You should still be training. Unless you decide that when it gets dark out, you are going to eat like an absolute fucking glutton and like carb load and do all of this shit, you should not be gaining weight. You know what I mean? You just shouldn't be. Belal Muhammad should not be so far away from his fight weight that he can't make it if he were to just dial things in right now. He has one more fucking day, dude. You think about this. Fighters rehydrate and get rejuvenated within 24 hours after making weight. Now, it's a little bit more that they've done the weigh-ins now are in the morning. It's like roughly 36 hours, but typically 24 hours. And before, when the weigh-ins used to be later in the day, it was 24 hours, and guys were still fine. They are rejuvenated, rehydrated, 20 pounds up from the day before, dude. If there were any effects that Ramadan had on your body, they won't be anywhere near to the effects that a weight cut would have had on your body. In one day of you eating normally and shit again, you'll be back to normal. You can start weight cutting. Belal Muhammad, you fuck. I think personally that Belal Muhammad does not want... I think that, dude, Gilbert Burns has been on a fucking tear lately, and he thinks to himself, I want to be as heavy as I can in the cage that night. Because Gilbert Burns is a fucking savage. You know what I mean? And I want to be bigger than him. Which is fucking bitch to me, dude. Gilbert Burns, I would argue it would be harder for Gilbert Burns to make weight, which he says he can do fine for this fight at UFC 288 if it were to happen. And the reason I would say it's harder for him is because this will have been his third weight cut in 5 months. That is taxing on your body. Ramadan, not so much, dude. I'm sorry. If there's people out there that disagree with me, I'm sorry. I intermittent fast on a daily basis. It is not fucking hard. It takes a little bit of getting used to at the beginning, but after that, it's done deal, dude. And if I honestly had to restrict my water intake, it wouldn't be a problem. I would just drink another half a liter in the morning, and you know what I mean? So that I would be like full of water all day. It is not fucking hard. This shit pisses me off, and everybody that's justifying him not being able to make weight is saying the same thing. Dude, it was just Ramadan. It's Ramadan. It's Ramadan, dude. It's Ramadan. Come on. He's going through I don't care. It's also a personal choice. You know what I mean? And again, I've said this in multiple videos. If any other fighter that was not a part of that religion said to Dana White, I'm sorry, I can't fight that month. Oh, and also the month before. Oh, and also the next few months after because I need a training camp, because I'm intermittent fasting for that for those few months. Dana would be like, oh, cool, fuck you. It's stupid, dude. It would be harder for Gilbert Burns, or at least more taxing on his body, for him to make weight a third time from January to May than it would be for Belal Muhammad to make weight after fucking already been fasting for a month. What, dude? I don't know what that noise was, but what, dude? I mean, it came out of me, but I don't know what it was. Enough of this shit. If you are a responsible professional athlete, you should have lost weight during Ramadan, in my opinion. I get, as I said, it whatever, affects people differently. Now, Gilbert Burns moved on immediately because he's a fucking gangster and called out Dustin Poirier, which would be a fun fight, a very fun fight. I think it would be more fun than a fight with Belal Muhammad. However, I think Gilbert Burns would fuck up Belal Muhammad at this point, dude. What is Belal Muhammad gonna grapple with Gilbert Burns? Huh, dude? I think that's why he wants to fucking only cut weight to 175 so he can bulk back up to 200 by the time they step in there. But I don't, dude. Khamzat Chimaev didn't want to grapple with Gilbert Burns. What makes you think Belal Muhammad's going to? Okay, Belal Muhammad's striking is fucking god awful. It just is, dude. It looks like he's swimming through air while running down a hill. He throws punches like Juliana Pena. We're not gonna... Okay. Gilbert Burns, though, calling out Dustin Poirier is fun. I like it. And, of course, Dustin says, I'm not in fight shape, but money talks. So he's willing to do it. And I know that he's a lightweight, typically. This is why, though, in my opinion... Now, a lot of people... We're just saying he should take the catch weight because he's going through Ramadan. So you want Gilbert Burns to have sympathy for the guy that he's supposed to go to war with. Okay. Oh, that way. Huh, dude? No. Okay. But I think that he should take the catch weight and just get it in writing that while this fight is going to take place at 175, it will affect my position positively or negatively at welterweight, dependent on if I win or lose. Because that oftentimes does happen. If guys fight at a catchweight, it doesn't do shit for the weight class that they're in, which is frustrating. And I know that they're both welterweights, and people keep saying that. Dude, you guys are both welterweights. Why wouldn't you just fight 5 pounds heavier? You have to cut less weight too. He's going through Ramadan. Because then it wouldn't be at welterweight, and he's trying to win a title at welterweight. Fucking duh. Okay? But him fighting Dustin Poirier at 170, I would argue, would do less for him and his standings at welterweight than just fighting Belal Muhammad at a catchweight would. I think that if he were to fight, that literally does nothing. I think he would win, and it would just, look good. You know what I mean? I think Gilbert Burns would win that fight ultimately. Yeah, maybe. Either way. Just hypothetically for now, let's say that he wins. What good does that do for him at welterweight? Dustin Poirier is not a welterweight. You know what I mean? And if Dustin Poirier were to win, that would kind of fucking really throw a wrench into into welterweight. That would be fucked. But it doesn't do much for Gilbert. I appreciate him calling him out, knowing that he's a big lightweight and that he could probably make 170 in short notice and whatever. I appreciate it. It's awesome. It would be a very fun fight. But I would rather see him fight Belal Muhammad at a catchweight and just have it in writing that, yes, I know we're fighting at 175, but this is essentially this is a welterweight fight. I would just get that in writing from Dana White. And then also, I see a lot of people acting like these guys need to do something that will steal the shot away from Colby Covington. While I don't think Colby Covington is really all that deserving of a title shot, especially, this would be a moment where he could earn that. You know what I mean? If he were to step up and fight Gilbert Burns, but why would you when you've already been promised a title shot and Gilbert Burns is looking like a fucking savage lately? I don't think that they need to steal anything. If Gilbert Burns fights again in May, 3 fights in the first half of 2023, he could sit out for the rest of the year. Just again, get it in writing. If I win this fight, I'm next for the title. I'll wait for the winner of Colby and Leon. I don't think that Leon Edwards has defended the title enough that it would warrant an immediate rematch if he were to lose that title to Colby Covington. And if Colby Covington loses, then who gives a shit? Make Gilbert Burns versus Leon Edwards after. That's what should happen, in my opinion. Belal Muhammad can ask for the same thing. Don't be a bitch, dude. Fucking make way. I can't. The dude is literally, it's pathetic to me. He whines and cries and acts like he's always ready and he's always trying to get fights and all this shit. And then there's literally 1 month out of the year where you have to just eat at a different time. And you just can't do your job anymore. Like, I just don't, it's so stupid to me, man. I do this shit every day. And I get that I'm not a professional athlete. And it probably would be harder for a professional athlete. I agree. But you could also structure your days just a little bit differently. Do you know what I mean? Structure your days a little bit differently. Go to sleep later, right? Like, 2 in the morning or something. Wake up at like 11, okay? Chill out. Go to training later in the day. By the time you're done training, sundown, you can eat and have some water. And like, it's really not that hard. And it's a personal choice. And it irritates me that just a month ago, this guy was talking all sorts of shit. Even less than a month ago, dude. I covered that video, the video I did on the interview with him and Jesse on Fire. This is like the opponent you would want. I don't know what Gilbert Burns is ranked at the moment. I haven't checked. I would imagine it's like at least top 5. It has to be at this point. That's the kind of opponent you've wanted. You were upset you had to fight Sean Brady. You didn't hear Gilbert Burns bitching about fighting Jorge Masvidal. You didn't. And he was ranked, 11 when they fought? Gilbert Burns does not get pay-per-view points. Maybe he got a little bump in pay for that one because the UFC knew it would do well, or maybe he renegotiated his contract or something, but he's not making like the same kind of money Jorge Masvidal's making. He's not making the same kind of money Israel Adesanya's making. And he was still willing to fight a guy ranked outside the fucking top 10 and not bitch about it. God, dude. I hate this shit. Then also, no, I'll do a separate video on him because he deserves it, dude. This is the end of this video. Like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it, dude. I'll see you in advance. Or I'll thank you in advance. I won't see you because you guys see me. But anyways, dude. Bye-bye.